Alright, so this is my Maker's PEV kit that I bought that I'm having some trouble with getting the controller powered on. I want to walk you through what I've done so far, and maybe that'll help understand what might not be working. So I got the kit with from Maker's PEV with all the components. I did take my one wheel apart at first and basically took out everything out of the controller box. I knew people were 3D printing the controller box, but I didn't really feel like I needed a new box if I could fit this in the original one. Well, it turns out it doesn't fit in the original one. That's why everybody's 3D printing it. But in any case, while I had that apart, I swapped this connector over into the original box, plugged it into the battery, and used my little breadboard right here with the stock switch to give a momentary signal onto the blue wire, the BMS, which powered it on. And at that point I saw I had 55, 56 volts from the battery. The controller did come on. I had down here, I had the power light come on, and then maybe a couple seconds later the MCU light came on. I had nothing else plugged into it at that point as far as the motor. I did have this switch plugged into it at that point, and I could press the switch. When I pressed it in like this, it would turn the controller off. When I released the switch out and it was like this, then the controller would be back on. At that point, I thought I was ready to get the motor hooked up and do the motor test and put some firmware in it, and then wait for my 3D printed box to be done so that I could get everything kind of assembled. It was just on the bench like this. And the next time that I had the motor connected, when I powered it on, doing the same thing by using the momentary switch on the blue wire, I got my 55 volts, but the controller didn't come on that time. And I tried the toggle switch a bunch of times and it didn't come on. So at this point I took everything out of the one wheel so I could put the original controller back in. And I'll go ahead and switch this on just with the charger. So here we go. We got 58 volts, the charger's on, and there's no light. And I can click this, and there's no light. The only interesting thing I do notice is with the switch pushed in, and if I switch my power supply off, the voltage starts to drop kind of real slowly. And as soon as I turn the switch on, it'll drop pretty aggressively. So as soon as I push the switch to the up position, watch. You see, it pretty much goes down. So something is switching on still with this switch. And I can confirm that as well on the power meter, right? With the switch pressed out, I'm getting like 3 watts being used somewhere on the controller. And with the switch pushed in, I get 0.5, which is basically just the draw of the power supply. And here's what happens if I remove the switch. Let's put this down for a second. So if I've removed the switch out, it goes back up to 3 watts. So it seems like something is powered on the controller, but none of the lights are on. If I plug in with the USB-C right here, nothing comes on. Nothing smells hot. Nothing really is hot. Nothing smells burned. No smoke came out. So I'm really just kind of stumped why it switched on once and then not the second time after I had the motor hooked up. Okay, thanks.